Authorities in Beijing have expanded the housing purchase limit to cover the single-story houses as they seek to cool down the property market.
According to the Municipal Commission of Housing and Urban Rural Development, as of Monday, single adults with Beijing residence permit and married people without residence permit are temporarily banned from buying a single-story house if they already own at least one apartment in Beijing. Local families that already own 2 homes or more and non-locals who have no record of paying social insurance or income tax for 5 years are also banned from buying a single-story house. Over the past more than half a month, authorities in Beijing introduced a spate of measures, including higher down payment, high mortgage rates, and tougher purchase restrictions to cool the red-hot property market.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is scheduled to meet his U.S. counterpart Donald Trump for the first time this week. Their much-anticipated meeting has put China-U.S. relations straight into the spotlight. CNC has talked to entrepreneurs and scholars at different occasions to get their views on China-U.S. ties in the new era. Take a listen.
Well, I think the Sino-U.S. relationship is absolutely an essential relationship for the world. And making sure that across so many different aspects, political, social, cultural, that we have a very strong historical relationship, one based upon mutual trust, mutual interests, is more important than ever.
There isn't a future where the U.S. and China don't prosper together or suffer together. I think we're connected, whether we like it or not. And so it's in our interest to figure that out.
Now, not only China recognizes the importance of infrastructure investment, and the U.S. also recognizes the importance of infrastructure investment. And China and the U.S. are 2 of the most important countries in the world. If they can join hands to promote infrastructure investment, then this initiative will have a much larger momentum, and it will be good for the world, because we know the economic slowdown is still one of the main challenges in the world. And if we can use infrastructure investment to create a demand in the short run, contribute to the short-term stabilization, and promote the growth in the long run.
Chinese President Xi Jinping is due to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump later this week. It'll be the leaders' first meeting since Trump took office in January. The 2 leaders are expected to discuss issues of mutual concern, including trade and regional security. For today's special report, CNC talked to several experts who offered insights into the future economic relationship between the 2 countries. Many stressed the importance of Sino-American ties.
Engagement between China and the United States has been moving forward since 1972, when U.S. President Richard Nixon paid a historic visit to China. Over the last 4 decades, cooperation has been the main trend in bilateral ties, despite twists and turns. Two-way trade of goods went through a phenomenal increase from $1 billion in the 1970s to over $500 billion in 2016. China has become the largest trading partner of the U.S., and in the meantime, the U.S. is China's second largest trading partner. Bilateral trade investment helped create about 2.6 million jobs in the U.S. in 2015 across a host of industries, from automobiles and construction equipment to agriculture. However, during the election campaign, Donald Trump pledged to impose imported taxes on Chinese products and labeled Beijing a currency manipulator. Experts said the first meeting between the 2 leaders is expected to see both sides seek common ground while reserve differences.
To be honest, what I think should come out of it is a recognition that the 2 most important, most powerful countries on earth need to have an ongoing dialogue, and that neither is in any rush to take actions that will destabilize the relationship, that both need a little bit of a time to pause.
We may have a situation where China floats the idea of a lot of investment in the United States. President Trump could parlay that into a big domestic achievement, creating jobs and so on. We'll see. Would that commitment by China lead President Trump and his officials who are really negative on the past U.S.-China economic relations to back off and not pursue their agenda?
But in a first summit, maybe they can agree to set targets that matter. Not that everything's going to be fixed at the summit.
On economic issues, it shouldn't be to try to keep China poor or to prevent China from playing a bigger role in the global economy, but rather to figure out how to cooperate with China in addressing the problems of the global economy and managing some of the difficult trade and financial issues that come up in international economics.
Some experts said the upcoming meeting is a good opportunity to deepen their personal understanding of each other and to strengthen mutual trust.
As I said, I think the two leaders should take the opportunity to get to know each other and U.S.-China relations in that context. Second, perhaps the best way to go forward, assuming that they can set this floor, is that the two presidents agree to setting up, let's call them a series of working groups, where senior officials get together and seek to address the real problems that do exist between us. So one on various aspects of the trade and investment relationship, one on maritime issues. That would be a good start, and that's a way of showing that perhaps general principles and general goodwill is being translated into some sort of action.
This is an opportunity to get to know each other. It's an opportunity for both parties to take each other's pulse, to discover a little bit about who they're going to be dealing with.
Over the years, cooperation between Beijing and Washington has been highlighted in joint efforts on a range of global and regional issues. Experts said these hard-won achievements should be appreciated and valued.
There's a long tradition from Nixon through Reagan, through Clinton, through both Bushes, Obama, of strong cooperative ties between the United States and China. This, to me, is a bedrock and key element of global stability, and I think it's critically important to the positive development of the relationship between the two countries, and it benefits Chinese and Americans together.
President Clinton's view was that the best way for the United States to make progress on all of the various issues that it had with respect to China was to engage with China and help in the process of China becoming part of the global economic.
The question of how Trump's administration will handle its relationship with Beijing has drawn much attention from across the world. Some reports say the conservative leanings of Trump's senior advisors and cabinet secretaries suggest the U.S. government might be tough on China. The administration could increase pressure on Beijing regarding trade and currency, as well as other areas. Some experts warn that tariffs or other hard measures imposed by Trump on China will lead to rising tensions between the two countries.
If the relationship is poorly managed, if the negotiations with China on trade don't go well, and if he imposes tariffs, Americans will quickly see the effect, which would be an increase in the price of goods. That would affect especially the voters who voted for President Trump.
There are going to be issues. The question is, do you resolve them in a constructive way, or do you resolve them in a non-constructive way? And that is really going to be a test of how President Trump decides to act.
There are even concerns of a possible showdown between the top two economies over U.S. complaints about trade deficits with China. But many believed such a scenario would not become a reality.
I tend to think we're not going to go to a trade war because an American trade war with China would also be a trade war with all the suppliers to China who are friendly with us and who have good economic relations.
Experts hold the world's top two economies have every reason to remain committed to good relations. because of a broad range of shared interests, especially in trade and commerce.
More than 3 years ago, Chinese President Xi Jinping proposed to build the Silk Road Economic Belt and the 21st Century Maritime Silk Road. Looking back at 2016, the Belt and Road Initiative has already produced some early achievements, promoting connectivity and opening up possibilities for development along the ancient trade route.
On one day in golden October in Kashgar of China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region, a fleet of 50 trucks carrying large containers started to roll along the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, or CPEC. After a month-long journey, the strong trade convoy arrived at its destination, the Gwadar port of Pakistan, on November 12, 2016. The containers carried by the fleet were shipped to the United Arab Emirates and other countries. That marked the Gwadar port's first export of containers to overseas destinations and showed that the port has returned to its design handling capacity. Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif said that CPEC is destined to transform the entire country. It could open up a world of possibilities, not only for Pakistan, but also for the Central Asian states. In February 2016, China Railway Tunnel Group completed building the Kamchik Tunnel in Uzbekistan, the longest tunnel in Central Asia. It is part of the 169-kilometer Angran Pap railway line, a major state project. After the line's completion, Uzbekistan's domestic transport will no longer have to go through foreign territories. According to official data, the Kamchik Tunnel transported more than 34 billion standard volume of natural gas to China in 2016. That's an 11% growth year-on-year. Zhao Lei, a professor at China Central Party School, said that for the Belt and Road Initiative, 2016 is the year of implementing landmark projects. Many European countries have high approval rates for the Belt and Road Initiative. The Visit China-Europe trains is evidence of its acceptance and popularity. Since the Belt and Road proposal, trains running between Europe and China have been increasing. By June 2016, trains have been running nearly 2,000 times between China and Europe, with a total of import and export value of $17 billion. Many other projects are also underway. China-Belarus Industrial Park is in development. The Hungary-Serbia Railroad is to be constructed by the Chinese side soon. Cooperation between China and Central and Eastern European countries has been further expanded. The Silk Road Economic Belt, with its focus on inclusiveness and openness, has become a vital link connecting regional development and China's transformation. On December 25, 2016, the construction of China Lao's railway officially started. Launched in late 2015, the project is expected to be completed by 2020. Once completed, a trip from Vientiane to the Chinese border would take only 4 hours, turning Laos from a landlocked country into a connected nation. On January 21, 2016, Indonesian President Joko Widodo launched the country's first ever high-speed railway project, the Jakarta-Bandung High-Speed Railway. With trains going at a maximum speed of 350 kilometers per hour, the travel time between the two cities will be cut from over 3 hours to less than 1 hour. In its expected 3-year construction, the project will provide over 40,000 jobs for Indonesians each year and form an economic zone along the railway. The Belt and Road Initiative provides opportunities not only for a new phase of China's opening up, but also for the growth of the world economy. On August 10, 2016, Chinese shipping giant COSCO acquired 67% stake of Piraeus Port Authority through the Athens Stock Exchange. It thereby became the official controlling shareholder of the Greek port. Piraeus is expected to operate as a hub in Europe for the 21st century maritime Silk Road and to connect the Silk Road Economic Belt with the China-Europe Land-Sea Express line. According to China's ambassador to Greece, Zhou Xiaoli, Piraeus was not merely an economic project, it was also a bridge to connect the peoples of Greece and China.
So as long as all parties work together in concerted efforts, we believe the port of Piraeus, Greece, China, the whole region we will have a better tomorrow. Thank you.
In Africa, the Chinese-built Ethiopia-Djibouti railway has officially opened service, marking a milestone in cooperation between China, Ethiopia, and Djibouti. Special advisor to the Ethiopian Prime Minister Arkabi Akwabe has hailed the road of railway project as important import-export corridor for Ethiopia.
This is a major export-import corridor for Ethiopia, and this line has been constructed on the Djibouti side and Ethiopian side. Both countries have closely worked to make this project quite successful, and financial loans have also been provided by People's Republic of China. And today this project is being inaugurated after a construction period of less than 4 years.
If the so-called hard connection of the Belt and Road draws countries geographically closer, an equivalent soft connection brings people together. Until now, over 100 countries and international organizations have expressed a willingness to support and join the initiative. 40 of these have already signed cooperation deals with China. On June 22, 2016, Xi addressed the Uzbek parliament in Tashkent, calling for the future building of a green, healthy, intelligent, and peaceful Silk Road. In his address, he laid out the future of the initiative. The president also invited other countries to attend the 2017 Belt and Road Summit. The 2017 summit will further outline initiatives and explore business opportunities. Its aim is to deepen alignment of development strategies between China and the relevant parties. It will not only look back at the achievements made so far under the initiative, but also set up a new starting point for the future.
Severe smog has affected many parts of China this winter. Over 20 cities across the country issued red alerts, the highest warning level in 2016. As environmental pollution disrupts the lives of hundreds of millions of people, the government is promoting a greener lifestyle and encouraging ways to reduce carbon consumption, such as buying new energy cars. China Report gives you the story. As winter approaches, the first thought in Chinese people's minds is smog instead of happy holiday memories. Breathing masks have become essential for anyone venturing outside, while air purifiers are needed indoors. For many, the biggest wish for tomorrow is a blue sky. This year, China is still struggling with the heavy smog. The Beijing Municipal Environmental Protection Bureau has introduced a series of pollution reduction measures to cut down PM 2.5 pollutant emissions. These include vehicle restrictions. All kindergartens, primary schools and middle schools in Xi'an, the capital of northwest China's Shanxi province, were closed for several days in this winter. Teachers gave online classes via chatting apps, while some schools offered live classes to students at home. In Tianjin, the heavy smog also forced many to stay indoors over weekends.
We'd better not drive, as the air has been so polluted.
I think the measures are expedient. They can reduce the impacts of smoke, but only temporarily, not fundamentally.
As the world's largest developing country, China is playing an active role in global responses to climate change, as it is itself a victim of environmental pollution. China leads the world in terms of energy conservation and use of new and renewable energy. In 2015, there were 340,000 new energy vehicles on China's roads, and the country has the largest market for new energy automobiles. The government is also promoting a more environmentally friendly lifestyle, encouraging low-carbon consumption means, such as buying new energy cars. At the Guangzhou Auto Show last year, there was a buzz surrounding solar-powered vehicles. A prototype of a new energy vehicle that is powered through social energy was showcased at the show. The exterior of the vehicle, which is named Solar R, is covered with solar panels that can absorb sunlight and transfer it into energy. Theoretically, the vehicle will generate zero pollution on the road.
Our vehicle is covered with 4.2 square meters of solar power panels, which can generate about 8 kilowatt-hour of electricity per day. Given our vehicle's extra lightweight design, it can run about 80 kilometers on this 8 kilowatt-hour of electricity. Plus the 42 kilowatt-hour battery we put on our vehicle, I would say that it can definitely cover some 400 kilometers.
BYD, the country's leading new energy vehicle maker, reported net profits of about $539.8 million for the first 9 months. This was up from 86.82% from the same period in 2015. BYD is also expected to expand its renewable energy business abroad and target countries such as in Brazil. Each new energy car will have maximum continuous driving distance of 300 kilometers on lithium-ion batteries. Charging is a major problem for new energy car owners. People have to charge a new energy car almost 3 times a week if the car is used every day in large cities. However, both public and private charging stations are not adequate. Usually, it takes at least 1 hour to get the car partly charged and 6 more hours to fully charge the vehicle. To overcome these problems and make the cars more user-friendly, cities like Guangzhou and Beijing are installing more charging stations to meet the rising demands.
It's convenient to have charging stations for commuters from Shenzhen to Guangzhou. Previously, I couldn't drive a new energy car to Guangzhou because I was afraid my car would run out of power. If I can charge the car midway, I can come back without doubt.
As the production of new energy cars increases and vehicles are made more user-friendly, it is hoped that China's high pollution levels will be reduced.
专业的团队，丰厚的经验。Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the Lake Cook Law Group. 投资理财、法律咨询，芝加哥专业律师团队为您的梦想提供最安全的保障。
云天无际，承载梦想。中国南方航空是中国运输飞机最多、航线网络最发达、年客运量最大的航空公司。亚洲第一，全球第3，是南航缔造的业界奇迹。蓝天壮志情，云海谱华章。
从明天起，我要做一个幸福的人。面朝大海，春暖花开。
This is Lila, an American student studying at Peking University in Beijing, China. She recited this poem to Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China, during his visit to Peking University on May the 4th of 2014.
其实那天是习近平来到北大，我们是留学生，我们读中文系，当时我们站在舞台上，然后大声地给他念。 我要面朝大海，春暖花开。然后他就来到我们面前，然后每个都问了我们叫什么名字，来自哪里。他握手的还是感觉很温暖。
A year later, during his visit to United States, President Xi Jinping gave a speech in Seattle, in which he expressed his view on international students in China.
在汉字中。 人是一个相互支撑的形状啊，这个人字是这样的。中美友好，根基在民众，希望在青年。我愿在此宣布，中方支持未来3年中美两国互派5万名留学生到对方国家学习。
With its long history, ancient architecture, mysterious culture, complicated language, and delicious food, China attracts international students from around the world through its charms. Studying in China has become a new trend. According to China's Ministry of Education, in 2014, a total of 377,054 students of all kinds from 203 countries and regions studied at 775 institutes of higher education, research institutions, and other educational organizations in China. China has overtaken France as the world's third largest destination for international students, following the US and the UK, and sharing 8% of international student inflow globally. International students in China come from all around the world, and the countries with the most students in China are South Korea, the US, Thailand, Russia, Japan, Indonesia, India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, and France. In terms of destination cities, international students have many choices. In addition to Beijing, Shanghai, and Tianjin, 3 municipalities directly under the central government, the provinces of Jiangsu, Zhejiang, Guangdong, Liaoning, Shandong, Hubei, and Heilongjiang have also attracted many students. The number of international students in China was about 100,000 in 2005. With a decade of opening up in the educational sector, the numbers keep rising. Over the past 10 years, the total number of international students in China has reached 2.6 million, equivalent to the population of downtown Paris. Chinese universities attract students with their good traditions and, more importantly, with their open and modern educational philosophy.
Every time I meet Chinese people, it's really a great experience.
I think the campus is good enough. The teachers are good.
All the professors and students are very helpful, and they're really nice to me.
I like my course mates because they come from very different parts of the world. Myanmar, Mexico, Tajikistan, Italy, and really that makes, get to know more and more about the world.
A modern China sends the message of openness, friendship, and inclusiveness to students from around the world, which in turn has been strengthened and reinforced by the growing number of international students in China.